Catherine Crisp is youngest of 4 girls.
Prisk.
Catherine Prisk, one of 4. Are you all alike?
Yes. Reasonably.
Reasonably.
Yes.
4 daughters.
Yes.
You were.
Yes.
Yes.
My mother's listening.
Well, what have Queen Victoria and the coal era in common? Now, that's a question out of the blue.
Very much so. Victorian. Yes, very much into Victorian wear. I'm a steampunker.
Because one could mistake you for someone who stepped out of a faded sepia photograph, Catherine.
Yes, very much so.
Now, how does that happen? I mean, here you are in a bodice and a hat, and I'm thinking, when did women last customarily wear hats except to church or the races?
Stopped wearing hats about the 1930s, I believe, but this is very much Victorian. Pre-Edwardian as well, but very much Victorian.
Do you remember the days when Queen Victoria's husband died and for practically the rest of her life she wore black? Have you gone into those phases in your past too? Or?
Not so much, but I have had a look at them. Very much love the era. My era is from about 1883. Very much into the fashion where nowadays it's very fantastical to dress that way.
Well, it certainly stands out in Victoria Street. Mind you, we've become very tolerant of different modes of dress, haven't we?
Yes.
At one stage, perhaps people dressed according to their class. Now, there's no meaning to it like that.
No, and steampunk is definitely different.
Steampunk.
Yes.
On first hearing it, people might imagine someone very young and into heavy music or something, punk music. How does the term punk come to be associated with the steam in this case?
The steampunk it's Victorian, the era, and we've slightly punked it up to modern times.
Okay.
Because it also comes with, we also have lots of different things that go with it, like the time travel, with the ray guns, different vehicles, and everybody can take on personas as well.
The Victorian era, of course, was well known for women. They were not the bosses in their houses. The man was the boss.
Mm-hmm.
Children were seen and not heard. Mm-hmm. You remember those days doing history and all that?
Yes.
When you get a group of steampunkers together,
yes,
it must be hilarious.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I went, in November, I went up to Whangarei to join the group up there, which is Kraken's Lair. We had a kite flying day and followed by an afternoon tea. And it was just so much fun. Of course, everybody's dressed up. There's about 20 of us. And we all get together and everybody's all in their, the long dresses, and the men are all dressed up with their top hats and long coats and, yeah.
In a circle like yours, anyone who was dressed just for ordinary, appearance around New Zealand would feel a bit embarrassed. We really don't look as interesting as we used to.
No, and being dressed up like this, it just makes you feel really good, because it's all part of it, dressing up, you're feeling beautiful in the beautiful outfits. And then we do things like picnic afternoon teas where we take china cups and silver teapots. No plastic chairs allowed. We all use all wooden stuff. So we can try to be back as reasonably environmental as well.
You study the old photographs?
Yes, I do.
Inspiration? I
also do scrapbooking as well. So, yes.
When did you develop the interest, Catherine?
I've only been in steampunk about 6 months.
Met interesting people?
Absolutely fantastic, awesome people from, there's a great lot in Whangarei, there's some Aucklanders. They've got them in Taranaki, Tauranga, Wellington, and of course the home base is Oamaru, which is the big thing we're having down there end of June. 28th of May it is. It's a big Oamaru time, and we go down there for 3 or 4 days. It'll be my first time down there.
Does it have an attraction to your daughter's generation as well, the steampunk?
I don't know, we could ask her.
Well, shortly we're going to have... We've found a list of, I think, the top 10 steampunk songs ever, and we're going to play a track, part of it, from a band called Ghostfire, and they're doing a thing called The Last Steampunk Waltz, so we may play that very, very shortly. I hope it is clean, so we may dig that out very, very shortly. I've just found this on YouTube, so stand by for it. You probably haven't heard the song, The Last Steampunk Waltz, before.
No, not that one. I know Lindsay Sterling, and she plays awesome violin in Steampunk.
We'll keep looking. This is a band called Ghostfire, which you probably haven't heard of anyway. So
no.
Yes, Catherine, this activity, you look forward to these occasions when you get together and put in quite a lot of thought as to how you present yourself. There's options after all.
Yes, and it's dressing up, it's finding the outfits or making the outfits. You've got to be very creative. Well, you can start out, with buying the outfits.
Do the kids love getting dressed up in Victorian gear too?
Oh, yes. We have a few of them. We had our big day at Huntly last year out at Pukemaru, and of course we had all the day there. Must have been about 50 of us, along with photographers as well. So the photographers come along, and steampunkers love photos taken. Photographers like to take photos. Get the two of us together, and it's a great mix.
Be inseparable.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Looking at some of those old photos, the poor boys of the time wore Eton collars. Do you remember those days? Do you get boys dressing them in Eton collars?
It's more like the boys like to dress more like piratey really, which is, you can do that as well.
Would you, if you had the choice, have chosen to be born in the Victorian era, when coal was king, rather than today?
I think yes, it would have been rather interesting.
Do you feel attracted to the novels, the historical novels of the time, or the history as it unfolded from those days?
Love the history. Love all the things that they had. All the china cups and beautiful stuff that they had. And of course, they're splendid outfits. Absolutely splendid.
Well, I found this waltz by the Ghostfire band, the last Steampunk waltz. So let's take a little bit of it.
She never smiles, the journey's end of 1,000 miles. Rings on her fingers and bells on her toes. Music to haunt her, she knows as she goes. Many years of bed of rock, too many turns of the season's clock. She never smiles, she never speaks. Awful silence goes running deep. Ghostlight and candlelight show her the way. On with the dawn of the day, as they say. Stay with her, lay with her, carry her high. Swear her allegiance to things you can't hide. She will find us again. She will find us again.
Not exactly top of the UK hit parade, but that is Ghostfire and the last Steampunk waltz.
So you've been reading. You did study history at school, did you, Catherine?
A little bit, yes.
And you haven't given up, it seems, because here's a book, and it's called Coal, A Human History. It says, on one page, by the 1800s, it was easier than ever to travel and ship goods around Britain, but it was still not easy enough to meet the needs of the burgeoning manufacturing cities, so dependent on moving unprecedented amounts of raw materials into the cities. It was really this economic activity that generated the wealth of Britain. Are you of British descent?
A little bit. I'm more Scottish, actually.
Have you traced it back lots of generations?
Yes, we go back to 1750. And we come from Caithness in Scotland. And so I've been doing the family tree as well.
Have you been back there?
No, I hope to in a couple of years.
Reclaim your family's history. You might
Yes.
even have some land there.
No, but I have found one of my ancestors buried at a church.
Well, that's a start.
Yes.
Fascinating to uncover that. For anyone else who wanted to join in this interest that you share in steampunk, how might they do it?
They can contact me through the Waipa Steamers. I am on Facebook, also at Catherine Prisk on Facebook as well. I'm also under Pansy Van Winkle, which is my steampunk name, on my Facebook page.
Who named you that?
I did. Yeah, everybody takes on a persona.
Yes.
I mean, I've got friends, we've got Phineas Squid, Cordelia Ford, Garnet Quigley, just a few of them all from up north. And it's great. Pansy's my favourite flower, and Van Winkle, because I just feel as though after a long time I've just got into steampunk, and it's a whole new world that has opened up, and it's absolutely amazing. It's so much fun. We get together as friends, and we go out and do things, and picnics, and kite flying, and have I've bought a picnic set, and we have the china cups and saucers, and have afternoon teas, and get all dressed up and play ladies and gents.
When you go to Scotland, of course, are you going to pay a visit to the Balmoral estate where Queen Victoria hung out at times?
If it's in my way, yes.
Well, I suppose it's come that time, Catherine Prisk, that we ought to let you leave in all your finery and this black hat and the white bodice and all that goes with it, and let you resume your position in that framed, faded photograph somewhere. You really have stepped out of time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing your steampunk era with us.
Thank you.